So we're following in the footsteps of Rembrandt. Let's start with that and see where it takes us. You know, copying is something that I haven't done in a while since I was a kid. Copying from paintings, but I love to copy from sculptures a little bit more because they actually have three-dimensional form and it's like copying a model. However, this is also interesting, and I began to do studies of paintings, and so far I'm doing them in pencil because it's quicker. But when I'm doing them in pencil, I do take some considerations of the style, the application style of the artist. So you'll notice there's different things that I do with the pencil very subtly between different examples of different artists. So here you saw in this drawing that I started with the arm. Now I think I might have to make an adjustment later on, but right now I started with the arm, and then I just followed that line that led to the head, and I put like a rough sizing of the head. And now then I went to the hand. That kind of took me around the head, went to the hand, and now I'm working on the face. So the face, I started with the nose because there's like such a strong dark contrast at at the shadow of the nose there, and there's a strong light obviously coming from the top left. So I was tempted to start there, and once I had put it in the hand, I was generally just gauging the distance to the nose. Now, this is a quick sketch. I think the actual length of the sketch was about 17 minutes. So I'm speeding the process up because, there's not that much to say about it. But also, initially, I had tried to speak while I was drawing, and that became very, very difficult because it's hard to concentrate on the drawing and have coherent thoughts because you're observing in visual. So it's difficult to compose strung together sentences, and everything was kind of more broken up than it sounds now. So I'm doing my best now to in hindsight, explain my process. So, obviously, I'm noticing the darkest parts and the mid-range areas. And here I had to adjust the arm because I had drawn the head too big. Now, you may notice if you look closely, maybe you wouldn't, but I noticed that there is a mistake in terms of the angle of the face and obviously the distance from the hand to the nose in my drawing. But these little things, perhaps you could argue, are not that important because we're just doing a study. So we're trying to, what are we trying to do? Like we're trying to copy the pose, which these masters often had really interesting poses. And it's helpful to follow in those footsteps. Now, one little side note that I want to mention is when I was doing the chest here, and I'll come back to it in a second, there's a lot of kind of nuance that you can only achieve with paint, and it's very difficult in a quick sketch to spend time on the intricacies of that gold leaf that's on his chest in that sweater that he's wearing underneath. So Later on, I'll come back to it, and I'm gonna do it fairly quickly and just kind of create a quick texture. So, yeah. The chalice down below so there's the texture. And I'm trying not to spend too much time and just make it like a quick sketch, because I know it can get very, very complicated and complex. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. So now I'm using the pencil on its side to create kind of like a bigger brush stroke and some blending. And I'm pointing out here that there's those shadows, and I'm trying to simulate the contrast. So just final touches here. It's a study. He's a great master. And there's a lot of subtleties here, a lot of wrinkles up on the forehead, a lot of really fine lines. So any questions, anything like that you were curious about, feel free to ask.